Hi, everyone. Good morning. It's so wonderful to be here. Thank you to TJ and Isaiah for bringing me here, for giving me and my family, my daughter Bowie is here, a opportunity to visit Halifax. We've been loving it. The city of Halifax, the province of Nova Scotia, and really I'm representing the city of Boston. So I'll be talking a bit about what we're doing in Boston to set the context for how we're thinking about resilience in these very, very challenging times. And we're just really, really happy to be a part of this wonderful and very important conversation. So let me make sure that I can, yes. So just to give you a sense of what we're grappling with, and I think this is a shared challenge with many, many cities, is that this is an unprecedented time of change. We're experiencing an acceleration of challenges both in our environment and in our economics, as well as politics that, it's really intense. And one is that Boston is a city, a winter city. It's built up to confront cold, is now experiencing more heat waves than it has ever had in its history. So it's one very, very big part of what we're doing. The second is that we're experiencing more flooding than ever before. So I think this is something that Halifax is also experiencing, but here actually is a picture of our mayor when she was city councilor running for mayor, crossing a street in one of our neighborhoods. This street used to flood every 10 years, and now floods regularly every year. So this is something that we're all grappling with. The other thing is we are facing a lot of change from our politics, and I just want to acknowledge that, not get into it too much, but it's really causing a lot more complexities with things that we're really used to, right? Our funding sources, our governance, the structures, rule of law, things that really kind of hold us together are being challenged right now. And in this moment of challenge, Mayor Wu has said over and over again, the city is where people experience government most innately, most directly, and it's up to local government in order to build trust. And everything we do, going back to the basics, is about building trust so that people can withstand the changes that are coming and can make sense of what is happening around them. And I think coming from the city of Boston, we're really proud to be an older city in the United States and a city that has innovated constantly. It's a city with the first public library, public school, public park, and we want to reclaim that idea that this has always been an epicenter of innovation. So as much as it is sometimes viewed as a traditional city, it's a city that has met change over and over again. So meeting today's challenges, I wanted to just give you a context about my role. Why is a research and data officer talking about climate resilience? And that is because so much of what we're doing today relies on building evidence in order for us to tell stories, bring people along. And the team that I lead is the Mayor's Office of New Urban Mechanics, which is the civic innovation office for the mayor, as well as our analytics team, which includes everything from data analysts, data scientists, performance managers, data engineers. So what we're trying to do is make it possible in partnering with all the departments across the city to show why they're taking on the transformative change that is needed today. This new team is intended to bring the public to the work as well. It's meant to show how public imagination can shift and as well as to advance our priorities. And I think some of the work that we're doing right now is about making sure that the civic vanguard, the people all around the city, the leaders all around the city, are working in partnership with the mayor's office and people within city leadership, as well as at the staff level, the people who are delivering the work is really, really important in order for us to make this change possible. So something that has happened recently within the city of Boston is, as a result of all these different initiatives and these challenges, is the creation of the Office of Coastal Resilience, What I wanted to show you was just a couple of examples of how we're making change possible in the city of Boston through the governance and through a shift in the structures that normally, maybe have taken place. This is a cross-departmental team. It is led by one person and a project manager, but then has a matrix with planning, the Office of Emergency Management, and a few other team members holding different sub-departmental leadership roles. It was just formed this year, and part of the reason is because Boston as a city is filled with innovators at the moment. Every department, the mayor has brought in leaders, chiefs, who are change agents, people who can advocate for a different direction, who are used to making that change happen. And we need to start to show the evidence and tie all the threads together. So this team is looking at creating a climate-ready Boston. We have done a lot of studying in the city of Boston about climate, so many reports, and this team is about implementation. How do we take the first step using what we know, and how do we pick out what we know in order to help people understand why those first steps are being taken? Our first areas of priority are coastal flooding, extreme heat, and increased stormwater. These are some of the solutions that are out there. They're significant solutions typically, right? They're usually capital intensive, major builds that people are talking about. And we have also a lot of neighborhood plans with ideas throughout. But I think what's most important is actually going to the neighborhoods and hearing people and hearing people's ideas of what it takes to address climate resilience. And you hear people actually really understanding that there is urgency. People are not isolated from that sense of urgency, even if it's a long-term goal, that people really want to see multiple benefits. They understand the intersectionality of this work, that it's about the environment and the people and the place and the economy. They want to see solutions that address all of these things. And there's a desire to focus on multiple kinds of solutions, the waterfront and natural habitat, and also equity. So I think what's been amazing to us is just seeing that when you go to the public, they are tracking along. They understand how all of these things are connected. We have done a lot of projects just testing a few of these ideas, and I think this is where that team is going to take the work further, is to always be identifying the action that can be taken that then can be scaled, and that is where that evidence continues to take hold and is necessary to show where scaling is possible. I wanted to highlight one specific project that my team helped with, and as a civic innovation team with analytics, we're both able to scope a problem, identify, build it, test it, build a prototype, test it, and then measure the impact. And that is essentially what we did here with our heat waves. One of the solutions was to create easily deployable misting equipment. So can we create ways that, heat waves usually come on very quickly. They are the neighborhoods that need additional help. They don't need this equipment all the time. As I said, this is also a cold weather city, so we don't want necessarily constant permanent equipment. And we partnered across departments with the Office of Emergency Management and the fire department, very important stakeholder, as well as Public Works to create misting towers and misting tents. Here's a picture of a misting tower that we deployed in Chinatown in Boston. And I think what was really amazing about the process, not just the equipment that was designed, was that there was deep engagement with the fire department and their cadets in training them how to use the equipment. And that is essentially what's going to allow for the Office of Emergency Management to transform itself into an Office of Climate Response, which is essentially the role it plays today. They are the ones that hold the command center when we have these heat waves, and so it's very, very important to get started in creating the conditions, the muscles of deploying that kind of response as we do face more frequent climate situations. The other example I wanted to share with you as it relates to place is our urban design vision. This is a paradigm shift where we are trying to move away from not even having a design framework, but to think about the ways that place and people interact, and to be shaping and guiding the plans that are now being developed in Boston. Like our climate work, Boston has a lot of planning department plans, and the hardest part is always, where do you start? And our team always looks for that initial action that you can take to demonstrate the possibilities. One aspect is the Network for Greening While Growing. So this focus on children and green spaces was an area, this intersectional area that fulfilled the design vision's goals. And we launched a bike town last year. As a result, it was a prototype. It was a huge lift. Parks was not used to installing these kinds of gardens, and essentially this is a place where small children can learn about the rules of the road, learn to ride a bike, and be out in the open space. So that intersectional aspect of, you don't always have to be in the car, you can have other alternatives, and then have it be a part of playing. It was really, really important to us. And now it's taken on by the Office of Early Childhood. It will be expanded to five different sites, and we actually just opened the one at City Hall this summer, which was really, really exciting. Whoever thought that this City Hall, the brutalist building, built in the 1960s, would then have this bike garden right next to it. So I found this evolution of change very inspiring, and I hope you do as well. Thank you.